Frank Kitty Podcast, episode 541. I am Susie Meister.
I'm Sarah Rice.
And we are here to entertain you. What if we just didn't have anything to say this time? Will that ever happen?
That's impossible. I always have stuff to say. There's like a million things. I can update you on you give me a subject, I guarantee I can talk about it for...
I'm good. I just worry.
Yeah.
Because, what if we do Okay, this is going to go dark real quick, okay?
Okay. Don't worry. I'm
dark.
feeling very light, so I'll bring back up if we need to be.
Susie being revelatory and sharing something secret that I normally don't. Okay.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, sometimes I have dark periods and I have, trigger warning about, like wanting to get out of this earth. Okay. So sometimes it gets real serious and I'm like, I got to get out of here, meaning life.
Oh, Suze.
But it's okay. So
yes. Those are
then
common
I
thoughts.
thought, what can I do? Thank you, Sarah. That's so nice.
It's true.
Okay.
I'm always here.
And so I thought I need to come up with a system where I almost say, okay, fine, you can do that. But then I have to qualify it. So my qualifier was, you can do that once you've finished reading everything on your book list.
Susie!
But keep in mind, I add books every day, okay?
Everybody, you need to go to Susie's Instagram, Twitter, recommend books.
No.
Keep that list long.
This is why it's a great plan. That is not ever going to end.
Right.
I have so much I want to learn and so much I still need to read in this world and figure out.
Yeah.
So I will do that.
Your thirst for knowledge and information is...
keeping
you going.
It's saving my life, yeah.
It's saving your life. That's beautiful.
But I do feel like everybody has something.
Yeah.
That.
I mean, we've been there. I've been there in those thoughts of what is
this all about?
What is this? Yeah. What does it matter? And then you just have to I feel like those are the times where I try to zoom in and focus on the small things. Like look at a tree or a flower or the moon.
Sometimes that would not work for me, but sometimes it would. So I had to find a foolproofer. No, because the mind tricks you and tells you he'd be better off. When you're in the
mind.
really...
Yeah.
But I mean, for real, that's what happens. That's why people end up doing it, because their mind lies to them and says, the world would be better off without you. It's a trick, but I'm just saying it happens to people sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point of this story was that I feel the same way about our topics. If we ever run out of topics, it's a similar problem.
Yes, it is a similar problem. We have wonderful
good.
people who keep, us talking because they send us wonderful things. And you can pick any subject and I will guarantee I got at least a couple hours of material on it.
Yeah, and
even if nobody wants to listen to it.
People are fascinating. This earth is fascinating, so we will continue talking about how fascinating it all is. Okay.
Excuse me, I just burped a little. I gotta drink water.
I love how you're in a mood today. It's cracking me up.
I am in a mood.
Before we started recording, Sarah was like, I had coffee and now I can't quit talking.
Oh my God. I should not drink coffee. Sarah on no on natural, nothing in my system.
Yes.
Whew. And then I have coffee. Oh my God. I do feel I feel like my heart's going to explode and I cannot sit still in my chair. I have to take deep breaths.
Oh my God. You are a live wire. That is so
live
fun.
Wire right now. So who knows what I'm going to say?
I embrace it. Okay. First of all, let me just say, if you're not in our documentary club, I think you should join because fucking documentaries are so great.
So great.
And the one that we chose for August was Dick Johnson is Dead, which sounds ridiculous and kind of is, but explores ideas about mortality and, your relationship with your parents and what happens when they are at the end of their life and all that stuff. But it's framed in this bonkers setup where this filmmaker convinced her dad to simulate his death in a million different ways.
God, that's so funny.
And he agreed, probably because he's the best thing ever. Did you watch it yet, Sarah?
I have not.
Well, let me just
I'm busy making TikToks. What can I say?
If and when you do, just remember, this man who's like 80 or something, 85 maybe, is like my ultimate man. He is the coolest, most charismatic, charming. He's a psychiatrist. Like, just,
well, you know how you have a thing for older men.
I have a thing for older men. I have a thing for smart guys. And I love people with a twinkle in their eye, and he has one. Aww. And Dick Johnson is so cool. So anyway, you guys should join.
Dick Johnson, what an unfortunate name. Do you think he has a big dick?
He goes, the funny thing is, I don't know what his first name is because it's C. Richard Johnson. So, like, he chose to go by Dick.
What if his first name was, like, Cock?
Stop. Sarah, stop. What if? Cock Dick Johnson.
I love making Susie laugh like that. There really isn't anything better. She did not think I was going to say that.
That is comedic genius because, I mean, just the fact that there was a euphemism for penis that starts with a C is so lucky.
It really is.
Oh, so
Susie,
happy.
see, this is why we'll never run out of material.
Because of you, not me.
No problem. No, it's like an assist. You throw it up and I just like put it in the hoop. No
I'm
problem.
a straight man, and then accidentally set you up for like these genius bits. My God,
It's the best. I love it.
Cock Dick Johnson. Okay, Susie, pull it together.
Okay.
Did I have
Okay.
coffee?
Whew.
Okay.
Right.
So anyway, even if you're not in the documentary club, you should watch it. It's on Netflix, and I think it might even be on Hulu too, but it's really great, and it made me cry, it made me laugh, all those good things. And it's just a really clever film. You know when you see something and you're like, what? That is unique. That is something I've never seen before. That's what Dick Johnson is Dead is like. But anyway.
Oh, I love that.
Last night.
Documentaries are good for that.
Yes. So let me take a minute and just get serious here and talk about something else I love, which is Theragun.
Oh, gosh,
my
yes.
God. Is this a lifesaver? Adam and I have been using it every single day. It's a handheld percussive therapy device. It is so helpful with like deep tissue, like muscle tension. It's like power, speed, depth, but it's super quiet. It's not like one of those contraptions where you're like, what is happening? It's so good. And it's really helpful after a workout. It's helpful if you have stiff muscles or if you sit at your desk all day. And it is so convenient. You can just do it at home. And then, like, they have the screen on their LED screen. It can tell you, like, how to move it in a way that will be beneficial. It's just great. Try Theragun for 30 days, starting at only $199. Go to therabody.com/braincandy right now. Get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's therabody.com/braincandy. Therabody.com/braincandy. That's a new URL. So if you forget, you can go on our website and I'll have it there. Okay, so last night I started a new documentary series, which was, I think it's called Knockout, and it's about Mike Tyson.
Oh, I would have not expected you to like that.
Oh, I hate sports, but I love sports documentaries.
Isn't that funny?
Well, because there's a lot of the coolest parts of life in sports.
Yes.
That I can appreciate. I just don't want to watch the games and the matches and the fights and stuff.
Right. Oh, I hate watching fights.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, it seems like you would appreciate boxing, but that you would be like creeped out by it too.
I do not like people because I get that vagus nerve response where I
feel like you're there.
Feel it. I feel it in my body, and it's like same reason. I mean, I can watch it in the Olympics because they don't fall that bad, but like skateboard videos, I can't watch them. I love skateboarding, but I hate watching the falls because it physically hurts my body. So that's what it feels like when I see these people get hurt. And so I don't even enjoy it because I'm watching it through my fingers or not at all with my eyes closed.
It can be overwhelming, yeah, if you're that kind of a person. Well, remember how I was about the Michael Jordan series? I said it changed my life. I mean, you should be prepared for this sort of reaction because I like I said, I just really get into the documentaries about it. And this one is great because it explores like his private life, his growing up, and how he was raised. And you get some insight on because he's an enigmatic character where you're like, what? It's the question, what happened to you? Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
So, like,
that's like the question that now I run everything through.
Right. And when you even just watch an interview with him, he's so unusual in the way that he presents, combined with that unusual way of speaking. I guess it's a lisp or whatever that gentle speech is, combined with his sort of enormous physical presence and his strength. I don't know. He's just...
it's interesting that the lisp hasn't gone away, or there hasn't been any, that a couple of speech therapy classes should work that right out.
Is that true though with lisps?
I think so.
Okay. Maybe he likes it.
Every child that I've known who's had one was able to go to a speech pathologist who I do not work in that field. That's a different kind of therapy. So
maybe it's like learning a language where if you don't do it early enough, then it doesn't stick.
Oh, interesting. We're going to need some.
Because let me tell you, that guy was not getting
therapists.
any resources as a child. He was in
really
like the worst part
surprise
of
me.
New York, and grew up in that fight or flight mode, which rewires your brain and makes you different than you would be otherwise. One thing that I had to mention though that I thought was so interesting was, and I never knew this happens, but especially in Brooklyn where he grew up, they have pigeon racing. Are you familiar?
Oh, no.
Okay, I wasn't familiar either.
Pigeon racing. Now, on land or in air?
In air. Good question.
It seems like that could be difficult to control.
The way that was described in the series was that Mike Tyson raised these pigeons, and they are, I guess they're called homing pigeons, but they roost where you are. And then all day long they go out and fly, and then they come home each night to rest and roost. And then they would do these races where you let the pigeons all go, and then everyone else does too. And basically you try to collect your competitors' pigeons and, like, take them for your own.
Oh. It's kind of fun.
It's probably not for the pigeons, but maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. The pigeons are like, oh, they want me.
There's enough of me to go around, boys.
Yeah. Just take a number.
Rosie Perez was one of the people in the docuseries, and she said this is like a way of escapism, and it's just like a fun hobby for people in the projects. And so anyway, he raised these pigeons. And he was bullied in school, probably in part because of his speech, but also because he was unhygienic and considered to be, they called him dirty Mike.
We would call that neglect.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He
kids
was being
don't care.
abused. Right. Yeah.
And so one of his bullies came over and was like torturing him, and then said he picked up one of the pigeons, and Mike was like, please don't hurt my pigeons. Like, they were his only source of love. And the guy twisted the pigeon head off right in front of Mike.
No!
And they said that was a turning point in his life where he beat the living hell out of this guy. And nothing was ever the same ever again. Because that was, to him, his family.
Yeah. That is so heartbreaking. Fuck that guy.
Right? But you know what?
He deserved to get his ass kicked.
Another thing, though, that's weird is, like, Mike Tyson is a rapist. He went to prison.
God. I don't forget about this.
Right,
this
but this is what I find
this.
so interesting is that I think people really are so enamored with him, and he's such like it's almost like he's an underdog, even though he was a heavyweight champion.
Yeah, I do see it like that too. You're right.
And you kind of like just feel bad for him, even though he does these hideous things. He beat up his wife. He admitted to it and went to jail for rape. And this is a villain in every other scenario. But for some reason, people are still rooting for him. And I think he's even more popular now than before.
I think so, too. I think the show or the movie, what the fuck was that movie he was, The Hangover. helped.
Right.
Because it became like a novelty.
Yeah, and he was just sort
I think
of
he
like...
falls into that category.
Right. Obviously, I think it would be different if he were accused of that stuff now, maybe?
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know.
totally forget about that. And there is something about, I think the lisp also, in a weird way, it plays a factor in there.
Yeah, it's like almost
it's
like
almost
a child.
like we infantilize him. Yes. Okay, Susie, we're on the same page.
Yeah. Because this would not be
Interesting.
true for
Peculiar.
pretty much any other person, especially a heavyweight champion who is just incredible.
Like when you saw the documentary, did you see the Surviving R. Kelly documentary?
No.
Oh, God. Okay, well, then they don't
I
have
can't
anything
believe
to
you
compare it
watched
to.
that.
Yeah. Well,
Was
you know
it
what?
triggering?
No, because mine happened to me when I was a child, and there's of course Aaliyah that she was like 15, but it's the children, the ones with children that are really triggering for me.
Yeah.
Not
they
as
are
much
underage, but
yes,
technically children, but
yes, correct. And more like a younger child, somebody who I felt like there was like a mirror,
What about that series, though?
Well, I was going to ask if it, like, when I watched that, R. Kelly was definitely the villain, like the bad, like we were
don't feel
definitely
bad for
anti.
him.
Nope, not for a fucking second. And I was wondering if it had a similar or different tone, or if there was, because it doesn't seem like it does.
No, this is more like, I think they do a good job of explaining the complexities and the ways that he is not a hero. But I kind of appreciate the more balanced look, which I think most people probably would think is offensive. But I guess it's because I interact with criminals all the time.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yep.
Because they are still people.
You connect to the human. Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got it.
But, like, I don't know. He's just, I look forward to continuing to watch because I want to see how it plays out and if they keep that tone throughout.
Yeah.
But,
so it's like a mini series, like a series.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will keep you posted on that. But
yeah. Where can we find this?
This one was on Hulu. Yeah, Hulu.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was great.
Wow.
And that actually reminds me, I did read this article about, I think it was in Atlantic, and it was about the appeal of perversity, sort of like why we all want to watch true crime stuff or...
Okay.
Yeah, like that kind of like thing. The weird thing is I finished the article and I'm still like, but wait, what is the appeal? Because they were saying like, that let's say you look at a beautiful icicle, that there's something... that happens when you look at it, the fragility of it, where you kind of like want to smash it.
Yeah.
And like we all know that feeling.
Yep.
But...
that's interesting.
Yeah, like what is that impulse in the human mind?
Oh.
It might be... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you. It's so fun.
Well, it's funny that you brought up the pink elephant in the last episode because that's an example that they use to help explain it. That... What the brain does when you say, don't think about pink elephants, is it literally your brain scans itself and finds any kind of like pink elephant content and then puts it into this other category and says like, we're not supposed to be thinking about that. But in turn, you end up thinking about it. So it's kind of like a glitch. And they were saying also that the way of survival is sort of considering all the ways you could be harmed and like maybe coming up with an escape plan a bit.
For sure. That is your brain's job. And the better we are at coming, the more finely tuned our brains are at doing that, like the more creative we are, the more options and the more of these like crazy scenarios our brain comes up with. So like, I tell people who are experiencing those kind of anxious thoughts, like, are you a creative person? Oh, yeah, totally. Well, what makes you think you're going to be creative and thinking about, what do I want to draw? And not be creative about, like, thinking, what are the 1,000 ways I could die right now? Like, it's the same muscle. We can't just be like
Right.
selective of like when we're going to use it and when we're not going to use it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
one thing I'm definitely going to use is my cans of Huzzah to
Oh, yum.
satiate my thirst. So yummy.
Give me all the pear.
Get the juicy pear.
Juicy
They also
pear.
have strawberry and hibiscus, raspberry, lemon. All the flavors are good, really. I like
I haven't
having
tried
variety.
strawberry and hibiscus.
Oh,
I
you'd
gotta
like
try
it.
that.
It's really nice, and it goes great with cocktails. I'm
I
just
love
saying.
hibiscus. Yeah.
I personally love Huzzah because they add probiotics, and I'm always trying to get my gut right. Like
Yeah.
Susie needs to pay attention to her gut, but they're tasty and exhilarating, and they feel so refreshing. I just think that you guys would love them, and they're just great to have on hand for cocktails or just as they are. Get your cooler ready. Stock up on Huzzah Probiotic Seltzer by using code BRAINCANDY for 20% off your order at drinkhuzzah.com. That's code BRAINCANDY for 20% off at drinkhuzzah.com. One of the things that they mentioned, though, is, well, first of all, they mentioned in this article about perversity how teenagers have much higher rates of this sort of behavior where,
of course.
like everyone would be like, oh, yes, obviously.
Yeah. Underdeveloped prefrontal cortex and inability to control impulse control.
Yeah, and so like if you poll them and say like, how many people, like if you ask them to fill out a survey, do you have a prosthetic limb? They will say yes, even though they don't.
What?
Like they don't get anything out of it.
Right.
They get no reward.
This kind of goes in line with my theory on the icicle. Because I think there's one other little thing in there that this is just Sarah's got a theory. What the fuck do I know? There's a little bit of me that says it's about control. It's about
Not being told what to do.
Yeah, like I as a human have agency or have the ability to impact my environment in the way that I want it. And it makes it like this feeling of if I wanted to break that, I could. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's like a power thing. And I bet somebody who is more dominant or more alpha, maybe in a way, might have stronger feelings like that. Just a theory.
Well, and if teenagers feel like they're constantly under the thumb of authority, parents and teachers, then that might be their way of showing autonomy and all of that stuff.
Like I can't control a lot, but I can control, like.
But it's just
my
like
brother was one where they would just like destroy things. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right,
are
that's
you
the
doing,
thing. They're like agents of chaos, and they get nothing out of it. Like besides maybe a rush of adrenaline or something.
That's it. Yeah, it is, and it's usually done in groups, though.
Right, that's true. Because if it is by yourself, it takes on more of like a deviance.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like establishing hierarchy, establishing dominance in the peer group, and like a hierarchy and where you fall in line. Yeah, I can see that.
And it was even saying that being told to keep something secret can, under some circumstance, increase the odds of someone revealing it.
Oh, for sure.
Tell me what you just think that's like a taboo, like sexy thing.
Oh, I think it's what you're saying. It's like, don't say it, and then you just say it. There's like this pressure that builds up if you don't know how to handle that.
For some reason, it's more appealing when we know we shouldn't do it. How odd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except over here, I love keeping secrets.
I just feel like they maybe still don't have the answer. That's why when I finished the article, I'm like, wait, did you tell me?
For sure. They don't have it.
Right? Because it's just like this weird...
They're just theories. And how do we don't know?
But do you think any animal ever does something just to fuck up something else?
No.
Besides humans?
No. I think, well, and even humans, I think that everything we do serves a function. Everything we do serves a function, even if it's to keep us safe or establish our place in the like system, which is essentially safety and like security. But even if there are decisions that we don't like, even if it's a decision to say like choose to, I don't know, do drugs, it's to not experience the sad feelings you're feeling. So it doing the drugs serves the function of making you not experience sad feelings or whatever it is. It's not that right way to do it, but every single thing we do serves a function. So I think that you have to look at like what's the function of that behavior, and then when you understand that, you can change the behavior.
Okay. So what function though does sort of wreaking havoc? What do
Establishing your place in the like if it's a bunch of teenage boys, I can definitely think of like my little brother used to have this like crew he would hang out with, and they would just like you said like just raise like just be like what do you call them? Something of chaos, agents of chaos.
Yes.
So funny, and they would just do shit like, oh my God, I'm totally gonna like call him. I don't even know if he could say this. Like, what if he gets in trouble for this?
He won't.
No, I can't even say it. It happened like years ago. There's probably a statute of limitations. They,
oh my God.
Him and his friends went to this like abandoned or like old like shit had been there for a long time, and like it was a construction site that nobody had been working on, and there was like an old trailer. They just like tore that shit up and like took baseball bats to that and just fucked shit up. Like, you know, like people who want to like jump on top of a car and just like smash windows and things like that.
Do you think
like
how much of that do you think is just sexual frustration? None.
Well,
totally unrelated.
And that serves a function. It serves a function to release that pent up feeling of whatever it is.
Well, because
maybe
men are more likely to do it, and I know some of that is social conditioning.
Yes,
but some of it is chemical.
Yeah, and I also think it has to do with how we interact with our environment. Mm-hmm. Men tend to be more of the they're
women, allowed to show
different.
anger.
Yeah, and then there's a lot there. There are a lot of layers to that.
Okay,
understanding that. That's interesting.
It's just something to think about, Sarah. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Let's see. What do I want to talk to you about? Okay. Are you a person that prays?
Yeah. Well, you call it whatever you want. I call it setting intentions, or like sometimes if I'm in a real witchy mood, casting spells. It's the same shit.
Can you give me like a summary of like what that would be? Like, do you say like dear God or anything?
No, it's more like an intention and a awareness of like the collective consciousness, and like a tapping into like a universal energy source. So I'll and most of the time a lot of times it's an expression of gratitude. So just recognizing all the things that I'm grateful for, and I try to like take the feeling of oneness and light around me and in nature and everything like that, and bring that into my heart space and share it, and like imagine it being this kind of like cyclical or like circular, like it gives to me, I give it to it, and like it then
and you don't address anybody
and
you don't say like universe or
I do say universe sometimes. Yes, I go, oh, thank you, and sometimes I say God.
Okay.
I totally mix it up, and it depends on what I'm feeling. And sometimes I say Mother Earth, and sometimes I say, it could be depending on who I'm talking to.
Okay, I was just curious.
How about you?
Well, I pray every night, and I do it in the same way that I always did, even though I don't have those particular theological beliefs anymore, because I enjoy it and it feels comforting and nice. And it does. It's a nice ritual. I like routine.
Yes, I love that. And of course, you're so good at having routine. It's so fantastic. If you're my client, just gold stars all the time for your routine. I don't really hand out gold stars, but I like to say that to them. Gold star for you.
Hey, you should give them gold stars, though. I bet they would really go for that.
I bet they would. I would as a client,
if you're ever
for
in
sure.
the office,
yeah, right?
Well,
but I think it's the same. It's semantics. I mean, it's the same. Call it whatever you want. It's doing the same thing.
I agree. And this article that I read said that prayer and psychedelics have the same effect. That they both produce alterations of perceptions and mood, and have antidepressant and analgesic properties.
Yes.
Okay. So
I totally understand this.
And this was in Psychology Today.
Love that. Yeah.
It makes total sense. And I've never done psychedelics, but for me, I'm just like, well, then psychedelics must suck, because I have never felt like rarely felt that transcendent sort of like mood altering thing. Maybe
I think if you were to utilize, because what it really, I mean, in my understanding of it, what we're really talking about here is, when people say like raise your vibration or raise your frequency, those kind of like hippity dippity things.
Sure.
That's measurable. We know that the brain it has like electrical impulses, and it does have a frequency, and it can be measured. And so and this lines up with the brain states that we learned about in What Happened in the book, What Happened to You, in Oprah's book. So we know that the brain produces a different frequency when it is in a fear, depression, sadness, a place of negative emotion. That's in a place of alarm, fear, terror. That produces a fundamentally different brain wave than when you are in a place of calm, in a place of being centered, and you vibrate at a different frequency. You put out there's a different frequency. So I bet if you were to use something like, what did they call binaural beats, where they play a different frequency in each ear, and then your brain naturally like balances out and finds it matches that in some weird way that I don't really know the details of.
Yeah.
But you can stimulate that, and you can create that. And when your brain is in those states, the hormones, the good stuff, the serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, all that kind of stuff, it starts flowing, which is the stuff that's released when you are, with the exception of serotonin, that's like the gut area too, but still kind of, I would imagine, a good mood would make you feel like that. But it's the same
what
thing
gives me those chemicals also is watching old family movies and looking through pictures, thanks to Legacy Box.
Absolutely it would.
Which is such fun because you can digitize all those old VHS or even reels, whatever you have collecting dust in your family attic. You can digitize and then enjoy them or give them as a gift to your parents, your grandparents, and then you can actually watch and view those special memories with your family. I think it's such a nice thing. It's a great gift. And, can help give you something to talk about over Thanksgiving or whatever. Like, that's the other thing, too. Like, you're going to be with these people anyway. So you want to talk about all the good times. Yes. You should visit legacybox.com/brain to take advantage of this limited time offer for 50% off and discover the magic of bringing your past back into view anytime, anywhere. Take advantage of this exclusive offer today and then use their kit whenever you're ready. That's legacybox.com/brain to save 50% off. Legacybox.com/brain. And you guys know I did that with my old VHS, and then my brother just did it for his wife. She just passed away, but she was in the Ohio State marching band, and he's going to digitize all of her old performances, which I cannot wait to watch.
I love that. That is, Susie, you gave me like the perfect tie in here, but I think that, in this theme of rituals and of that kind of stuff, that those, if you do have somebody who is maybe older or is just their health is declining, that doing those kind of things and creating that memory while they're still around and like including them in that process is so healing and so beautiful and will absolutely be beneficial for every single person. It just is.
Well, and I feel like to do it before you even need it too.
Yes.
And then, whenever you're in the mood for like, let me see what went on. And then you can watch all that old stuff, and it really is amazing to do. So, anyway, but yeah, the prayer and psychedelics thing, I totally know what you're saying. And on paper, I'm like, yes. And I have experienced that transcendence in religious settings for sure. But I can't say maybe ever that I've had it through prayer.
I think maybe you've had, you're not, I don't think you're doing it wrong at all. I think also that it could be very, if you're thinking of it as this path you're walking or the mountain you're going up, right? And the top of the mountain is this place of like, that knowing or that enlightenment or that feeling of oneness, whatever it may be. Taking psychedelics is like taking the tram to get up there. And doing it via meditation or prayer is like walking.
Yeah, maybe I'm always in the state.
Yeah, and it's much slower, and it's not as noticeable, and you're more. It could just be that the ways that you're experiencing that aren't as like big or extreme as when you're in that. But I bet like that. There's a trick that I learned that I didn't learn that. I just felt like this worked for me. Like I had this kind of like aha meditation moment. And I don't know if there's any truth to this. This is Sarah's Got a Theory shit. So when I started getting like really into meditation and like focusing on doing it a lot and really just thinking about that awareness of my mind and of like what frequency my brain's at and utilizing some of those tools. And you know how we talk, like I got a pretty good like mind-body connection. Like I can tell like when I'm ovulating, like I can feel, it feels like I can feel the hair on my body growing sometimes. And so I feel this sensation of like a buzzing or like a glow around the crown of my head. And so I really try to focus on that and try to create this feeling of a glow, of a buzz, of some sensation around my head. And I feel like the more connected and the more like spiritually centered I am, the easier that is and the stronger that feeling is. And as I was meditating one day, I had this like click where I thought about how saints and people who are spiritual or whatevs are depicted in photos and like what a halo is. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh my God, maybe that's what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's like the halo is just like a glow around your crown area. And I think I feel that. I mean, I'm not a saint over here, but I feel like that's tapping into that spirituality. Like that, there's a reason. Like that represents something. Why did they pick a halo? Why is that a thing? I think there's a connection there. This is Sarah's Got a Theory, but if that feels good for you, run with it.
Yeah, right. It's got to mean something.
I feel like it does. Because what else? Give me another explanation for why that is something that's universally depicted.
Yeah, you tell me, losers.
Different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds, different practices of spirituality, all with that same kind of glow around the head. That kind of tells me that maybe we should be like focusing on that.
I think I will.
Okay, so maybe that'll help. Maybe you could just try that and like see what that does. See if like when you pray, like maybe that you'll be able to have more awareness of those psychedelic-y feelings, because that shit feels psychedelic to me.
Oh, I like that.
And I'm scared of doing like I'm scared of mushrooms. I'm scared, like I've been offered them so frequently, like recently, and I just I'm good. I don't want to take the tram.
Who is
I want to just walk.
offering you drugs?
Well, like my ex-boyfriends would do that, and then who else? Sometimes, like we've had some Brain Candy listeners. Shout out to all you guys who are like, "Hey, if you ever need a hookup, I got you."
Wait,
they know
pot
who they're
like,
talking to.
Like
no
black tar
mushrooms.
Heroin. Oh,
not black tar. Susie, you said psychedelics. Black tar heroin is not a psychedelic.
I know that. I just thought you said drugs in general.
No, nobody's offering me drugs. Just like they like can sense, that I'm a hippie over here.
Gotcha.
And they're like, hey, if you need some, I got you. And maybe it was that picture of a mushroom I put up on my Instagram from your garden. People are like, hey want that? Hey, And I've done DMT and everything I learned in that. I'm like, no, I'm good. I feel like I know, I get it from doing that. And you only really have to do it once.
I do love a shortcut though. It's nice for if you're in the mood.
Yes.
I mean, not that I've ever done it. I can't even get my cushy punch. Sarah says there's a shortage.
Oh, my God. There is, Susan. I'm trying so hard. And then then they'll like be like, oh, yeah, it's in your cart. And then I'll order it, and then they'll call me and they're like, oh, would you like the sativa? No, she would not. I mean, no, I would not.
That's hilarious. Well, hey, I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, I'm going to keep trying.
Can I tell you something that you don't even have to try? You just will enjoy it, which is KiwiCo, because they will send you a box to entertain your beautiful children or your friends' beautiful children, and they get to learn super cool, like steamy stuff. Science.
And hey, you're like in the flow when you're doing stuff like that, which is very connected.
Very. You might get a little bit of a, chemical moment where
Yes.
you're feeling pretty great. Because the thing is, it's hard to keep kids engaged without screens. And this is such a wonderful option because this isn't drudgery. This does not feel like homework. Kids are so excited when their box comes. It feels like it's just for them. Didn't you love getting mail when you were a kid? I still do.
We've already talked about the sticker club. I love it.
Like, kids love getting their own mail.
You sent me mail the other day. I loved that. It's the best.
Yeah, it's so
cute.
fun to get a surprise package. And these come each month, and they're catered to their age. And they get to do a fun project. You can do it with them, or they could do it on their own. And it's just really fun stuff that you can keep and enjoy and play with. With KiwiCo, there's something for every kid or kid at heart every month. Get your first month free on select crates at kiwico.com/braincandy. That's KIWICO.com/braincandy. Such fun for kids or adults to enjoy a little project.
Yes.
All right. Okay, I read this article about, I think this was in Vox, and it was just about influencer speech, the way that they talk.
Yep.
And
my God.
it was really interesting. They were talking about YouTube and TikTok.
It is crazy to me to watch children adopt this way of speaking.
Like, how do you interpret it? What does it sound like to you?
Hi, guys. Welcome to my channel. I just want to say I am so excited for you to be here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, bye. Yes.
Yeah, they use certain words, and it says that their pronunciation and pacing of the way they speak is altered versus like how you would in a normal conversation just in real life. They did a poll to find out like how they all began, and of course, as you said, "Hey guys" is still the number one.
It's so crazy. Hi, friends.
Hello, everyone, or something like whenever I'm on 15 Minutes of Blame, I always go, "Hello, everyone."
Yes, I love that.
But
You got to have an intro, though.
Everybody has like a little thing that they do, and I guess "Hey guys" is the general popular one.
Mm-hmm. Which, what we have to say about that?
What?
Just guys, like that. We're once again just.
I'm torn about that.
I'm adopting y'all.
Don't do it.
Why?
I don't love it.
Why don't you love it? Oh my God, I had no idea this was going to be our next fight.
I guess it's not really.
I'm kidding.
You know how when you don't like someone, a particular person, if whatever they do, then you hate it whenever anyone else does it?
Oh, you don't? Okay, got
my
it.
My mortal enemy says that word, and it just triggers me. But it is so charming.
I will not say it around you.
But wouldn't it be kind of like an affectation since you're not from the South?
No, I say it more often than you think. I'm like, I do say it.
Give me an example.
And I feel like
you're not saying.
Like I write it.
Are you all coming to whatever?
No, I say. Oh, do I say it? I think I write it more than I say it now. God, listen,
don't do it, Sarah.
Y'all are gonna love this.
Maybe if you said "you all," I would be less disturbed.
Yeah. I feel like, I did see like this Venn diagram of like gays and people from the South and use of y'all and that being the overlap, and I was like feeling it. Oh yeah, because it's gender, it's all inclusive. It's like I'm gonna find that post. I saved it.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, Susie would like this.
That's better then if it's also gay approved.
Yes, totally. Like, I mean, so I hear on Instagram. So
maybe try it out. But if it sounds ridiculous, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, that's totally fair.
Okay. And then you can do with that whatever you want. Okay, so they referred to it as intellectual used car salesman talk as well.
Oh, my God.
Where
it's so accurate.
They're trying to sound articulate, but they're also trying to sell you a bunch of shit.
God.
And then they said that TikTok voice is more of like a sped up monotone as opposed to the drawn out dramatics of YouTube.
Yes, and you have to speed it up because you got to get that shit in 30 or 60 seconds.
Well, yeah, and they said evidently they're beta testing 3-minute ones. So some people
I am.
You're in the test.
That's why you were able to see 3 minutes of me flower arranging the other day.
Holy heck.
But it was nice. Somebody gave me the best compliment I think maybe I've ever received, who said, "This has Mr. Rogers energy," and I was like, "Oh,
Lord.
I could die now."
I gotta watch that one.
I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you, best compliment ever." So yeah, I'm into it.
Basically, they say that they weirdly pronounce every little bit too much, and like they tend to drag out both vowels and consonants. So oftentimes people will do one or the other, but on YouTube and TikTok it tends to be both. Like they're just over enunciating.
I can see the reasons for this, because as soon as they had, or at least in my mind, when I'm doing the creating of, when I'm like making a TikTok or something, in the beginning when I was not pronouncing everything, the auto captions weren't catching it. So because I want the auto captions to be right, I make sure I pronounce everything. That's not having an effect on this.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then I don't want there to ever be, there's like this part of me that doesn't want any dead air, doesn't want any moments of silence. So you kind of drag the letters out and make them.
While you form your thoughts.
While you form your thoughts, yeah.
They also said that people tend to say, like for instance, the word the, they will tend to say the instead of the.
This is the best thing I've ever, it adds an extra emphasis onto it.
Right. And then they also pointed out how they tend to make it a collective noun, like saying, or a pronoun, like, we're going to do this today instead of saying, I'm going to do this thing.
You can literally watch the evolution of me fall into this, all of these things in the TikTok video. I have a TikTok video that's probably like 2 or 3 in there where I'm walking Bo, or I know I'm with Bo, and I say, okay, we're going to, and I'm like, who's we? It's just me here anyway. Like, and I say that in the video. So this is so happening. What is that about? And I have with absolutely no intent, like, it wasn't I didn't put any thought into it, but I find myself falling into all of these. So now I'm like trying to basically explain my own behavior, look at like, well, what could that be? Look at the function of what that can serve. But it is so funny that now that I think that, I do all those things now.
I wonder too if it's watching videos informs how you then make your own.
Yes,
or if just like knowledge of an audience can change. But we have an audience here, and I don't feel like we talk like that.
No, we don't. I'm very much normal talking here.
Right. So it's more just knowing this is what's expected on this.
And it's looking in the camera, too. Because I do a similar thing. I would say if you were... I did a similar thing in my OTFs, or when those are on-the-fly interviews, when we would... back in, the MTV reality show days or challenge days, they would interview us just, on the fly. And it felt, I think I would do those kind of things then when and I could see and then sometimes in the interviews when it feels like I can see my own reflection, I can see how I'm emoting, I emote more.
In the OTF? Or on TikTok?
Or on both. And the other place where I'm trying to think of a place where I would have done this outside of, the internet. And I can see the reason, I can feel, it feels very kind of similar. And it wasn't when they were just like filming me in the house. It would be when I'm in an interview, and I would get especially...
it feels more official.
When I could see my own reflection in like the camera.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do know that.
That I then can see how I look, and then I think I do bigger facial expressions because I'm really trying to.
I feel like that on Zoom too. If you can see yourself, depends on whether you turn that off. But.
Oh, I turn that off now because it started being a distraction. I started to think, I'm like, am I watching myself or am I this isn't the Sarah show? Turn that off. So,
yeah. Okay. Well,
it's always the Sarah show.
Okay,
let's be real.
Keeping in the influencer genre thingy.
Yeah. Good article.
This was an article about how Norway is punishing influencers who don't label things as retouched in their sponsored posts.
Good. I think we should be doing that.
I do too.
I think it's false advertising. Come on. What the fuck? And like all those gym people who then are wearing like the butt pads. I've seen that.
What?
Have you seen this? Oh my God. I'm going to find that. There's definitely a clip that I saw. Okay, I have to write that down. Butt pads. I'm going to need some context when I write down butt pads on my paper. Okay.
So what are they doing?
Like they're like fitness, Instagram-y fitness people, and they'll be like just doing squats, like with it, and then, it'll be a chick who's got like those like pads, like she's, takes them and adjusts them, and they're like moving her fake butt all around, and she's there selling like, I don't know, slim tea or whatever the fuck they sling. Stupid.
So they try to make it look like just those squats created this new bomb.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
and I think even when they're not selling something, it's also in just like they're
that's for
representing themselves as that, which you can't, ding somebody for. But when it's the products, I feel like you have to do that. Don't be selling me toothpaste with your whitened teeth and your, fixed up like face tuning app or whatevs. Or
haven't you ever been with people, I don't know, from the challenge or otherwise, who online look totally different? That happened to me with someone from the challenge who I had never met in real life and had only seen on social media and on the show. And then when I met her in real life, I was like, whoa, that's a different person entirely.
I don't know if I can even think about if that's a feeling I've had. I don't know. I'd have to. I can't think of anybody. I feel like most people I met and then some.
Yeah, probably.
So like that direction. I feel like I didn't notice it as much.
Well, okay, but even so, you've lived with these people, for instance.
Yeah.
Then you see their pictures on Instagram. Do they still make you feel that pang of like, wow, that person's so beautiful and I wish I looked like them?
No.
Or are you like, I know what they really look like?
They're not at all. Not within. There are some exceptions who I just think are the most beautiful people. Like Cam. I don't know her last name. What's her I don't know. But, Cam and Leroy, like, oh, my God. Cam is, like, so fucking beautiful. And I look at her and I'm like, oh, you are a goddess on earth. Like,
But you've met her.
Like, no, not in real life.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe she but to me, she just is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like the example I have because I can't think of. I'm trying to think of somebody else who I have that.
But I think that's why you think that though, because you've never seen her just sort of living her life, which she is beautiful. But there's just a different level when you've only ever seen someone polished. That's just true.
That's totally true. Yeah, that is true. And we have like this yeah. I wonder. That's why I try to not be polished on mine.
I love that about you.
I try to keep it filter-free as much as possible.
Yes, you're very real and very, like you show each side. So sometimes you're done up, sometimes you just woke up, sometimes you're going for a run. I love that about you.
Some guy left a message the other day that said something about, I have to find it because I mean, I know that it was nice, but there's a part of me that was like,
yeah. I hate those.
You don't have to say it like that. Or like, it's great that you don't you don't feel that you need makeup or something. Like the way it was said. Let me find it because I'm gonna say it because I know it's meant as a compliment. But I love how you don't bother with makeup. That was like,
yeah,
I don't bother with like.
I agree.
That's kind of sat wrong with me.
Well,
I was like, what the fuck you mean by that?
Men have no idea when you are not wearing it and when you are.
Like, and I wear like 3 things. So like the different, like, is it that I just don't have mascara on that day? Like that's it. I don't know what else you'd notice.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, it felt like that. So I don't know what I responded, but
I really am trying to be more like that. That's why I posted the ping pong picture that we laughed about privately, you and I.
Yeah, I love that picture.
Like, obviously not flattering, but hilarious.
It's so funny that you think that's not. I think that is not flattering.
Oh my God. Well, that's really nice.
You're so silly.
Everything. Love is blind, Sarah. But I'm just saying, like, everyone has pictures that they wouldn't post.
Right.
And I'm trying to get more comfortable with that because who the fuck cares?
Who the fuck cares?
But we all do. That's the thing.
Right.
So, like, I want to get less like that, you know?
You know, I was watching something that said, when it was like, how to be successful on social media or on whatever it is, TikTok or anything. And it said, like, find your niche, like, find your niche, whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, pick what you are and then keep representing that. And I was like, okay, I'm just, like, you can be yourself person.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'm just going to be like, show up as you. That is my brand.
I hate when they say that, though. I know that's the
Which?
advice that everyone gives, that you got to find your own niche or brand or whatever.
Yeah.
But that is such an incomplete picture. We're a lot of things.
Oh, I think they mean just for, like, if you want to have 1 million TikTok followers. You can't be doing, like, some dance moves and some cooking and some this.
Sure.
Because then
and that's
people
how
don't
Twitter
feel, like,
is too.
committed to,
I know why people follow me on Twitter, and then I want to provide that to them. But it does feel like, I don't know, limiting. But
it totally is.
If you want to be an influencer, you have to do that.
And it's like your brand. It's like you're this is a restaurant. What kind of food? You don't be Cheesecake Factory. Mm-hmm. Can't have everything.
Yeah.
No, everybody's overwhelmed with that menu. So,
but for regular people, please just be you.
Just be you. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to limit yourself. You can be all the things. You can be a mom and a big fan of brain candy. You know what I mean?
Yes. And
Let's
if you
wind
are,
it
you
down.
should, like, leave us a 5-star review.
Leave us a 5-star review because we talk about Cock Dick Johnson.
Oh my God, that was funny.
We talk about the complexities of Mike Tyson's legacy. We talked about perversity and why we kind of love staring at train wrecks.
The thing that stood out in my mind was pigeons in that whole story, which is weird.
Me too.
I was like, oh, you remember those pigeons? Oh, right. That was in the Mike Tyson story.
Well, and my sister Gretchen has watched the whole series, and I get the impression the pigeons come up again. Like, I don't think we're done with the pigeons, but
all right, interesting.
I'll keep you posted. And don't forget to pray or do psychedelics, if you want a little bit of a zhuzh.
There you go. And then tell us all about it because we love hearing those stories.
Yeah, and leave us a 5-star review, please.
Yes,
love
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.